The voicemail from my cousin Derek played on speaker as I packed boxes in my new Austin penthouse. His voice dripped with fake enthusiasm. "Hey, Aria, long time no talk. So weird, but did you change your number? Anyway, Mom's planning the Torres family reunion next month at the country club. You should totally come. Call me back." I deleted it without responding, just like the previous 15 messages from various family members over the past 3 days. The timing wasn't subtle. Forbes had called on Tuesday. By Wednesday, I'd mysteriously become worthy of a Torres family reunion invitation. But I hadn't forgotten the conversation I'd overheard 6 months ago. I'd been in Houston for a tech conference, staying at the Four Seasons downtown. My Aunt Linda, my late mother's sister and self-appointed family matriarch, was having lunch at the same hotel with her country club friends. I'd recognized her laugh from across the restaurant and was about to go say hello when I heard my name. "No, we're not inviting Aria," Linda had said, stirring her martini. "Can you imagine? The charity case cousin at the country club? She'd probably show up in those ratty jeans she always wears. It's too embarrassing." "But isn't she your late sister's daughter?" one of her friends had asked. "Unfortunately, but what would she even talk about with our crowd? Community college? Her little computer job? She cleans up code or something equally tedious. No, it's better this way. We'll keep it to the successful side of the family." I'd stood frozen behind a potted palm, my hand halfway extended in greeting, as the table erupted in tinkling laughter. "Poor thing probably can't even afford the gas to drive down from." "Where is she now, Austin?" Linda had continued. "Living in some studio apartment, eating ramen, pretending to be a tech person. It's sad, really. Maria would roll over in her grave if she knew her daughter ended up like that." I'd turned around, walked straight to the elevator, and checked out early. That night, I'd made myself a promise: the next time the Torres family heard my name, it would be on their terms, not mine. 6 months later, Forbes kept that promise for me. My phone rang as I sealed another box. Unknown number, Houston area code. "Hello, Aria? Aria Torres?" The voice was breathless, excited. "This is Jennifer Walsh from Forbes. I'm fact-checking our upcoming 30 under 30 billionaires list, and I need to verify some numbers." "Of course," I said, walking to my floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Austin. "What do you need?" "Just to confirm, Novatech's current valuation is $3.7 billion? As of last week's Series D, yes. And you maintain 62% ownership?" "Correct. Making your personal net worth approximately $2.3 billion? On paper, yes, though most of it is tied up in equity. Still counts." Jennifer laughed. "One last thing, you're 27? 28 next month. Perfect. Oh, and Aria? The photographer will call tomorrow about the cover shoot. Congratulations, you're our featured profile." "Cover? I was going to be on the cover of Forbes." "When does the issue go live?" I asked. "Online tomorrow, print edition next week." "Is Tuesday good for the Charlie Rose interview?" "Tuesday's fine." I hung up and looked around my penthouse, 7,000 square feet of steel and glass that cost more than most people's retirement funds. The ratty jeans Linda mentioned hung in my custom closet, beside $30,000 watches I never wore and designer clothes with tags still on. The irony wasn't lost on me. My phone immediately exploded with notifications. The Forbes article had gone live early. Youngest self-made female billionaire, how Aria Torres built a tech empire from her college dorm room. Within minutes, the family text chain I'd been removed from 6 months ago suddenly added me back. "Derek, Aria, congrats on the Forbes thing, so proud of you, cuz, Aunt Patricia, sweet girl, we always knew you were special. Uncle Miguel, my niece, the billionaire, I taught her everything she knows. Cousin Sophia, OMG, can you get me a job at Novatech? I'm tired of teaching." And then, the crown jewel, "Aunt Linda, darling Aria, we must celebrate at the reunion. You're coming, right? It wouldn't be the same without you." I screenshotted every message, evidence for later. The phone rang, Linda calling directly. I let it go to voicemail 3 times before finally answering on the 4th attempt. "Aria, thank God." I was starting to worry. Her voice was syrup and lies. "Did you get Derek's message about the reunion?" "Which message?" I asked innocently. "He sent so many in the last 10 minutes. About the family reunion next month. You must come. You're the guest of honor." "Guest of honor?" I pulled up my calendar. "That's interesting. Derek's voicemail from 6 months ago said I wasn't invited because I was, what was the phrase? Too embarrassing for the country club." Silence. "In fact," I continued, "I distinctly remember you telling your friends that the charity case cousin would bring down the family reputation. Something about my ratty jeans and tedious computer job?" You must have misunderstood. I was standing 6 feet away, Linda, at the Four Seasons. I was coming to say hello when I heard you explaining why inviting me would be social suicide. Arya, sweetheart, that was taken out of context, was it? Because I have a recording. I didn't, but she didn't know that. Amazing what phone can pick up these days. Her breathing got shaky. What do you want? Nothing, I said simply. Absolutely nothing from any of you. But family. Family? I laughed. Linda, you buried my mother and then acted like I didn't exist. None of you came to my high school graduation, or college, or checked on me when I was sleeping in my car senior year because I couldn't afford rent and tuition. You know who my family is? My 2 co-founders who believed in me, my mentor who taught me to code, my assistant who brings me coffee and tells me I'm being an idiot. Those people are my family, but blood means nothing when it's ice cold. Goodbye, Linda. Wait, the reunion, people are expecting. I already told everyone. Then untell them, or don't. I'll be in Tokyo that week anyway, signing a $400 million distribution deal. I hung up and blocked her number, then Derek's, then the rest of them, one by one, until my phone was quiet again. 20 minutes later, my assistant knocked. Arya, there's a situation downstairs. I followed her to the lobby, where security was holding back a familiar figure. Uncle Miguel, my mother's brother, red-faced and demanding. That's my niece, he shouted. She'll see me. I nodded to security and approached. Miguel. Arya. He tried to hug me. I stepped back. Come on, don't be like that. I'm here to congratulate you, my successful Sabrina. The same Sabrina whose calls you ignored when mom died? The one you said was better off in foster care than living with family? His smile faltered. That was complicated. No, it was simple. A 15-year-old girl with no parents was too much responsibility, too expensive, too inconvenient. You don't understand the position we were in. I understand perfectly. I also understand that you're here because Forbes says I'm worth $2. $3 billion. If they'd printed $2, 3,000, would you be here? He at least had the grace to look ashamed. It's not like that. Then what's it like? Miguel, please, explain why my net worth suddenly makes me family again. We made mistakes. You made choices. Now I'm making mine. Security will escort you out. Arya, poor favor, your mother would want. My mother is dead, I said quietly, and the only thing she'd want is for me to stop letting her family hurt me. Goodbye, Miguel. As security led him away, he turned back one last time. The Torres name means something. You can't just throw that away. Watch me, I called back. I built my empire as Arya Torres. The name means what I made it mean, not what you decided it meant. That night, the texts evolved from friendly to desperate to angry. Sophia, wow, you get a little money and suddenly you're too good for family? Patricia, your mother would be ashamed of how you're treating us. Derek, we were just trying to protect you from embarrassment. You should be grateful. Linda, you'll regret this when you're old and alone with your money. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I called my real family. Sarah, my co-founder answered on the first ring. I saw the Forbes article. We need champagne. Come over, I said. Bring Marcus and the team. Let's celebrate properly. An hour later, my penthouse was full of the people who'd actually been there. Sarah, who'd convinced me to drop out of UT to build Novatech. Marcus, who'd coded beside me for 72-hour stretches on nothing but Red Bull and determination. Jenny, our first employee, who'd taken stock instead of salary when we couldn't pay. David, our CFO, who'd talked me off ledges during the worst times. Remember when we couldn't afford office space? Sarah laughed, raising her glass. We ran a $1 billion company from Aria's studio apartment. Remember when the VCs said no one would invest in a company led by a college dropout? Marcus added, what was it that guy said? Come back when you have adult supervision? My favorite, Jenny chimed in, was when Aria's cousin came by the apartment, saw our setup, and asked if we were running a call center. Derek, I laughed. He told the whole family I was probably doing something illegal because there's no way I could afford rent otherwise. We spent the night telling war stories, remembering the rejections, the ramen dinners, the times we'd almost quit. These people had seen me at my worst, crying over failed pitches, sleeping under my desk, wearing the same hoodie for a week straight because laundry meant quarters we needed for food. They'd never once called me embarrassing. Around midnight, I found myself on the balcony with Sarah, Austin glittering below us. You okay? She asked. I know the family thing has to hurt. It did, I admitted. For a long time, I kept hoping they'd see me, the real me, not the version they'd decided I was. But you know what? Their loss, she agreed, though I bet they're kicking themselves now. My phone buzzed. A Google alert. Someone had leaked video of Uncle Miguel being escorted from my building. The headline read, "Billionaire tech CEO boots money-grubbing uncle from building. That'll be fun tomorrow," I muttered. "You could still go to the reunion," Sarah suggested. "Show up in designer everything. Rub their faces in it." I thought about it. The fantasy was tempting, walking into that country club, watching their jaws drop, listening to their apologies and excuses. But then what? Sit through dinner with people who'd only deemed me worthy because of a number in Forbes? No, I decided. They decided who I was years ago. A charity case. An embarrassment. Too poor for their precious country club. Let them live with that decision. And the Torres family reunion? Will have to survive without its youngest billionaire. A week later, I was in Tokyo, sitting across from Yamamoto-san, finalizing the distribution deal that would expand Novatech across Asia. My phone had been off for days. A blessed silence from the Torres family bombardment. When I finally turned it on at the airport, I had 847 messages. Most were from family, escalating from pleading to threatening to pleading again, but one stood out. A WhatsApp message from an unknown number, with a photo attached. The Torres family reunion at the Houston Country Club. A banner reading "Congratulations to our Aria," hung over a nearly empty banquet hall, maybe 20 people in a space meant for 100. Linda forcing a smile beside a cake shaped like the Forbes logo. Uncle Miguel holding a printout of my magazine cover. The message was from a server at the club. "Thought you'd want to see this." They spent the whole dinner talking about their successful niece and making excuses for why you couldn't come. Pretty sad, honestly. P.S. I'm a computer science major at Rice. You're kind of my hero. I smiled and typed back, "Keep coding. And when you graduate, send me your resume." Novatech is always hiring people who recognize fake from real. The last message I read was from Derek, sent an hour ago. "The reunion was a disaster. Everyone kept asking about you. Mom had to pretend you were too busy with important billionaire stuff to come. Do you know how embarrassing that was for us?" I typed back one final response before blocking him too. "Now you know how it feels to be called embarrassing by your own family. Difference is, you actually earned it." Then I deleted the entire Torres family chat thread. 847 messages of sudden recognition and convenient amnesia, and boarded my flight home. Linda was wrong about one thing. I wouldn't be old and alone with my money. I'd be surrounded by the family I chose. The one that saw my worth when I was worthless, believed in my dreams when they were impossible, and never once thought I was too embarrassing to claim. The charity case cousin had become a billionaire, but more importantly, she'd learned the difference between relatives and family. One you're born with, the other you build. And I'd built mine from scratch, one line of code at a time, with people who'd never needed Forbes to tell them I mattered. As for the Torres family reunion, I heard they made it an annual tradition to invite me, a standing invitation to the guest of honor who never comes. Hope, apparently, springs eternal. Even at the country club,